Hi, girly pops. It's Zoe London from Povo Song, and this is my first YouTube video. So I'm really excited. Thank you to everybody who's watching. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a heads up about the vibe. So obviously I'm super duper inspired by like the Wizard Liz and like Persephone's Blood and stuff like that. So I want to make little advicey YouTube videos like that. The only difference is like the Wizard Liz and Persephone's Blood are so dope because they're so like do like do this, like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you not treating yourself with the love and compassion that you should? Blah 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 blah. And it's awesome. And I absolutely love it. I am not able to take myself that seriously. I couldn't if I tried. So my vibe is gonna be a little bit more sort of like lighter, softer, like, the chill sort of like older sister vibe versus the like awesome, like dope, like hot mom vibe. So yeah, I guess that's really just like the little thing because I'm gonna do my best to take myself seriously, but it's really, really tough for me. And yeah, so the topic of today's video, and I've tried to film it. This is the third time now. The first time my head was cut off, and the second time I accidentally like changed the way that I was sitting and I was sitting cross-legged and I like looked like the hunchback of Notre Dame and it was really, really bad. And I was like, so this is the third time and hopefully all is good. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna upload it regardless. So we're just gonna do our best. Basically, I wanted to start by talking about like I guess it's sort of overarching and I'll get into it. But I basically just like wanted to say that like you're gonna be okay. No matter where you are in your life, no matter how you're feeling about your life, no matter how you're feeling about yourself, that trust me, you're gonna be totally fine. And I wanted to start with that because of the fact that like you can't really trust that or know that unless you have a little bit of life experience, right? And I'm not, I'm only 25, but like I do have some experience under my belt. I do have some successes under my belt already. Like I've already run a business. I own a house, I am in school because like I want to be in school. But I'm sort of doing it at my own pace. I kind of get to do like not all the time, but like I kind of get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, which is dope. But that's because of the fact that like I worked really hard when I was younger and stuff like that too. So yeah. But yeah, so I'm not just like talking out of my ass. Okay. Like I have a lot of failures in life. I have a lot of successes in life, but I genuinely do feel like you can trust my opinion on this. And the reason that I say that like everything is going to be totally okay no matter what, even though I don't know you and I don't know your like specific situation, is because of the fact that like honestly, from personal experience and stuff that I've seen in life, the only way that you're not going to end up being okay is if you like actively go out of your way to fuck up and ruin your own life. Like unless you're really diligent and like really dedicated and you're putting in the effort every single day to just ruin your own life, you're going to be fine. It doesn't matter if you're not happy with where you are, if you feel like you don't have a purpose, if you feel like, you haven't done enough or blah, 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 blah. For me, my whole thing is like, I don't like it when I don't feel useful. That's like my little like personal trigger. It's okay. And the reason that I say that is because of the fact that I feel like as a society and just in general, we sort of act like we're supposed to have these roadmaps in life, right? And like there are these invisible benchmarks that we're supposed to hit, and these invisible sort of like, okay, you have to get this done, you have to get that done. If there's noises in the back, that's my bunnies. They're being very loud right now. I know, I see you. But like, even though we act like there's supposed to be these invisible benchmarks, we don't even really know what they are, right? Like, it's not the 90s. Like, you can't just like graduate university, buy a house in Toronto, like, you know what I mean? You're good to go, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's sort of like the same. There isn't really like a middle class anymore, right? Like, there's fewer markers of like, okay, well, how do I know if I'm in the right place now? There's fewer markers for that than ever, right? So we don't really talk about how important it is for you to build your own roadmap. And for me, a lot of it was like trial and error. And I just ended up doing like a lot of really like different stuff in my life and have had a really different life path because of the fact that I've had some detours like foisted upon me, not by choice. And I had to sort of like get around, make do, like figure stuff out. You know what I mean? But there's been lots of different times in my life, in my adult life so far. And again, a lot of this is because of the fact that I ended up taking a very different life path than like a lot of my peers in high school and stuff, where I was like, I have no idea if I'm doing the right thing, right? I have no idea if what I'm doing is the smartest thing to do, if it's going to be the best thing for my future, if this is the right move, if that's the right move, if what I'm doing is productive, if what I'm doing is enough. And I can 100% tell you with full honesty that everything that you're doing before you find out your life path is you figuring out what your life path is going to be. So like, for example, one sec. No, Reggie, no. Sorry. For example, so like when I originally went to university and I went to school right out of high school for computer engineering because I wanted to be a Disney Imagineer. I'd wanted to be a Disney Imagineer from when I was 5 years old, 5 to 18, because I went to Disney for the first time and I was just like, and my family actually, we had a timeshare at one point for Disney World. So I've been a few times, quite a few times. And it was never about the movies. It was all about the engineering. I was like, how did they build this? I was like, what is this place? And I was like, yo, I want to do this. And so I knew what an Imagineer was before I knew what an engineer was. And I worked my way backward. And then I was like, okay, what kind of engineers are Imagineers? And it was like, okay, embedded systems. So I was like, cool. So I'll do embedded systems, computer, blah, 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 blah. First year, do my first coding course. I was like, oh, I hate this. And I ended up having this massive detour in first year. A whole bunch of stuff in my family happened. So I had to take time off, which you can't do in first year engineering. And I ended up losing my scholarship. It was terrible. Took a gap year, transferred schools, got my yoga teacher certification, tried a bunch of different things, went through a journalism phase, started like taking my little beer money side hustle Instagram business more seriously. And then that took off when I transferred. So then I became like a branding marketing consultant. But I was like, oh no, I don't like this. And I hate coding. I could not be a computer engineer if I tried. I literally am like a Lego block thinker, right? I think that if I had just like gone down that path and continued and sort of like pushed myself through it, I would be very unhappy because when you're deciding what your career is going to be and what your life path is going to be, that's like the homework that you're going to have for the rest of your life, right? So yeah. But I was just like in my gap year, I was like, I have to like not be a loser, right? Because I felt like for me, I was always very academically inclined, excuse me. I was like very like, so to like be a failure was like, I was like, I'd never experienced anything like that academically before. And so then trying new stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then my branding and marketing consultation business took off the year that I transferred. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on this for a bit because I really enjoy it. And I'm getting like some serious work experience, right? Like I was like leading teams and stuff, and doing a whole bunch of different things. The stuff that I was doing was like growing and expanding. Yeah, like it was a whole thing figuring out blah 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 blah, trying all of these different things to figure out like what do I love doing. And then when I decided to go back to school after COVID, because I was so bored. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've already learned everything that I needed to learn. And I went back the year that school was in person again. So I was like, okay, well, what do I love doing? And I absolutely love branding and marketing. That's why, Pover's on everything stuff so far. I love the earth, you know. I love the world. Like I bought a house in Nova Scotia with my dad in the Annapolis Valley. It's like bald eagles everywhere, rugged landscape, highest tides in the world. My favorite place in the world. Um, and I was like, okay, well, chemical, EV, green technology, cool. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll get my MBA after. I could go into green venture capital. And then I sort of had like that general idea and was learning a bit more. And then I sort of had like a light bulb moment after a class project where I was like, okay, I really love like agriculture, like green agriculture. So I was like, okay, cool. Right now I want to do green agriculture venture capital, which is like the most specific, niche, random thing. But it wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, that's it. It was from figuring out everything, so many different things where I was like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I'm doing. It wasn't this, it wasn't this, it's this and this and that and that and this and that and that. But like, I don't really know. And I feel like I've just kind of done all these weird side quests and stuff like that. But now, and honestly, as soon as I went back to school and stuff like that too, it's like I wake up every morning and I'm like hyped. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited to learn. I'm excited about all the stuff that I'm doing. I'm super excited about the process, right? And again, chemical engineering, process engineering, haha. But yeah, like that sort of internal fire, like my soul is fed, has only been possible because of the fact that not even really realizing that I was just sort of like, what even am I doing wandering around? Not wandering around, I was doing a bunch of different things, but like, you know what I mean? Like doing stuff and figuring stuff out and getting really deep in the muck and figuring out like, what is the stuff that my hands like to grasp, right? That was how I was able to figure out, okay, this is something that like makes me really excited. And it does. So it doesn't matter where you are in your life, what you're doing. And again, I'm like 25, so I'm like a mature student because like anything over 21 is a mature student or something. And I don't care. I honestly love being in school at my age. Again, like I'm not like, I don't feel like a failure or anything by any stretch of the means. But fuck, even if you had some problems and you had like periods of time where like maybe your mental health was really bad, like I've struggled with that too. Everybody has. Yeah, like there's nothing like I love learning. But yeah, like I love it. I love everything that I'm doing. And I have a very fundamental and firm recognition that everything is going to be okay. Because I'm either going to like get to where I want to be or I'm going to die trying, right? And I genuinely love the process of doing what I'm doing every single day. So, unless you go out of your way to be like, I'm going to make things as awful for myself as possible, like any form of misstep or mistake or time that you've had to spend recollecting yourself or healing yourself, or any period of time where you felt like you were held back when the other people that you know weren't, because I very much had that feeling when I had to take time off of school in first year. It was awful. It felt awful because I couldn't control that, right? Um, and that happens in everybody's lives. If you feel like there's been time wasted, hasn't been wasted, excuse me, like at all. You're just you're just learning more about yourself, and that is at least half the battle, if not more. So yeah, that is my little yap about why everything is going to be okay. In terms of sort of building your own roadmap, obviously, I have a bit more insight because of the fact that I did all of like the blind wandering around, like I don't even know, and then figured out that what I was doing was building a roadmap, right? So I might dive deeper into that in another video, but in the meantime, I did make like a little PDF guide, which is funny because my first ever little like foray into businesses when I was like in high school, I did like different guides to like Disney parks, guides by Zoe. I was obsessed with Disney World, like obsessed, like obsessed. You do not understand. And I think like one person bought them. But like, see, even that looped right back into today, right? So I made like a little handy dandy notebook, Blue's Clues style. That's just like a little PDF. It's basically like journal prompts, thinking prompts, and like a couple of little exercises to help you figure out sort of like what have you got already that you don't even know that you have yet, right? What are your interests? What are some ways to maybe like figure out that first starting step for the path that is the best one for you to take? Because you don't have to exactly know. You just have to start in the right direction, and the path will like just reveal itself in time, right? So you can always check that out. It's like $5.99. But yeah, so there's that. Also, if you feel like your mental health is super duper, just like you're like, I don't even like myself, so I don't even know how I'm gonna think that. Honestly, I would highly recommend just go and like sit under a tree for a little bit, just like calm down and just like remember that you're just like a silly little human. You know what I mean? Like we're all just like silly little humans. It's deep, but it's not that deep, right? Um, yeah, so you could do that. And yeah, I'm trying to think because this is the end of a YouTube video. So like, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna link my little Sleepy Zoe playlist. It's like 100 classical songs that I arranged like specifically for sleeping because I love music. I also like always listen to classical music when I sleep, so there's that too. Another random thing that I did, but yeah, so I'm trying to think, is there anything else? No, I think that's it. I hope this was okay. I hope nothing's cut off because my phone's probably gonna die, but yeah. Thank you so much, any girly pops that watch this. And I sincerely hope that this helped. Like, if this helps one person feel better about where they are and where they're going, then there you go. Then the video has served its purpose, and then everything else is just gravy. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Yay! First video. Woo.